All right, thanks for this interview.
You're very welcome.
All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions about what's a assistant principal, like what's your normal day like,
Okay.
something like that. All right, what is an assistant principal?
Well, pretty much I look at my role at the school. I have three primary responsibilities. The first one is student safety. The second is instructional supervision. And the third is to literally assist Mr. Clinton, assist the principal, whatever needs to be done. So I think that everything that I do falls under those three categories of my responsibilities.
Okay, so if he would be absent, you would just.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if he's not here, or really it's more of if something comes across his desk and he just needs me to do it, needs me to take care of it, then I'm his go-to person for that. And that's when I say, to literally assist the principal. That's what my responsibilities are, whatever he designates me, he needs me to do.
All right. All right, my second question. What's an average day like?
An average day, it's, and that's always a really good question, because one day can be drastically different from the other day. But I'll say what I attempt to make a typical day. I like to spend at least 25% of the day in classrooms. And that, whether that's in the beginning of the day, later in the day, just doing informal walkthroughs, maybe it's a formal observation on a teacher, informal observation. And there's two main reasons for that. One is going back to my instructional supervision responsibilities to provide feedback to our teachers of what's going on, but also I think it's important for our students to see administrators in the classroom, just to show the importance of the day-to-day instruction. So I'd like to say that in some days I'm able to do 3/4 of my day in the classroom. There's other days where I don't get a chance to get in the classrooms at all. Obviously there's the supervision aspect of my day, during the middle of the lunches, B and C lunch, I'm always in the cafeteria. I'm pretty much in there consistently every single day. I'm in the cafeteria every single morning when students get off the bus. I'm on the bus slide every single day. So that kind of bookends my day to start to finish in the middle. I'm obviously supervising students in the hallway. And then there's the obvious discipline component. And discipline is one of those things where there may be a day where I don't have any discipline at all.
Okay.
Then there may be days where I feel like that's all I do for 7 hours. And that a lot of times has to do with the day of the week. There's typically more discipline in the latter stages of the week than the beginning. And in some situations with student discipline can be taken care of like that. Others, if I have to investigate the situation, I have to interview people, if I have to follow up, if I have to do some research, that could take 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
So each situation ranges drastically based on that. So no 2 days are ever the same,
Yeah.
but I try and plan my days to be very similar.
All right. On to my next one then. Number 3. Out of all the many things you're great at, what would you say the biggest strength is?
Well, thank you for that. But I'd say that my biggest strength, or my biggest attribute, I think, is my genuine enthusiasm and my visibility. The students like to joke that they feel like, they'll be sitting in a classroom and all of a sudden I'll be in there and they won't have known that I've been in there for 5-10 minutes. And, students say that, when I'm in the cafeteria, they turn the corner in the hallway and I'm there. I think the visibility that I have, I think, is probably my greatest attribute, because a lot of times assistant principals sometimes get a negative stigma that they're just in their office all day. So I try and take pride in being in the classroom as much as I can and being around where our students are as much as I can. And then just like I said, the genuine enthusiasm, the fact that I love what I do. I'm very fortunate that I have a career where I look forward to coming to work every single day. I'm excited when I wake up. I'm excited to be here. There's parts of my job that are stressful and parts of my job that is challenging, but for the most part, I truly love what I do, and I like to think that it's obvious that I love what I do. So I'd say that's my greatest strength.
Okay. So now, I know it's hard to find a flaw in perfection, but if you had to choose one weakness, what would it be?
Wow. Honestly, I think it's more of a personality weakness that I have, and it's something that I've dealt with almost my whole life, is that a lot of times, and it has to probably do with my loudness and sometimes my brashness and my sheer honesty, that sometimes that comes across in the wrong way, different than how it's interpreted, where someone may think that I'm mad or that I'm yelling at them, And really, it's just that's just how I'm
that's
just
how you
trying to
went,
converse. You know, that's how I sound, and that's something actually, even when I was younger, that was something I had to deal with just the tone of my voice. So I try to improve on that, and I try to make a cognitive effort to not come across that way. And I know that there's been situations where I've had a conversation with a teacher or a parent or a student, and they may have walked away thinking that the tone of the conversation was different than what I intended it to do.
Oh, okay.
So that's something that I'm kind of always working on, and my wife always, kind of tries to keep me in check with that too, because she just knows that that's sometimes how I come across, and she always reminds me of that, especially with my own kids. But I think that's something that I can always, and it'll probably something that I'll for the rest of my career, I'm always going to have to deal with.
I mean, this is just a comment, but I did get best personality.
Oh,
I mean,
well, we may have to sit down off camera, and you might have to tell me what I need to do to improve my personality.
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, just we'll talk about it.
Okay, you're probably a lot nicer than I am too. So.
Depends. All right. All right. What's the most interesting or exciting thing you've done here at Ashbrook? Like, Ms. Childers gave me an example. Like, have you ever had to deliver a baby?
I have never had to deliver a baby, knock on wood. I have thought that I was going to. I had a pregnant student even this year who was feeling ill and actually came into my office and collapsed on the floor. She was conscious, but when she came in and I saw her go down, in my heart, I thought, this girl's going to labor. So I haven't had to deliver a baby. Probably, I would honestly say that one of the coolest things in the 4 years, this past March, when the basketball team made it to the state championship game, not the basketball component, but just that week of school, how excited our student body was, where there was just a different energy in the hallways of just the pride of the school, and to see the community just flood the school with support, where it was more than just the basketball team playing the state championship game. It was everybody was just so proud to represent and go to Chapel Hill and travel together. That was one of those things that I just kind of step back and just see it. And as a school, as a large high school, being able to prepare for a week-long state championship game, all the preparation and all the excitement, that's something that most school administrators don't get a chance to participate in.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I definitely, and I remember talking to Coach Duncan about that a lot, that we can't take this for granted. We got to just sit back and enjoy this. So that was something that was really, really special. Being a part of the AHS chat on Twitter, I think that was really cool, because that was something that had never happened before.
Yeah.
That was a first-time thing in Gaston County schools, and a lot of people took notice of that. And I'd be at meetings, or I'd be at sporting events or whatever, and I'd have people from other schools come to me and talk to me about it. And I really think that showed just the progress that we've made with 21st century learning and interaction on social media, trying to be the leaders in Gaston County, specifically to Ashbrook. I'd say those two were probably the coolest things that I've been a part of at this school in my 4 years.
All right. Moving on to my last and final question.
Okay.
If you would have to compare Ashbrook to Charlotte Mecklenburg School,
Okay.
what would you say is like the same or different? What do you think? Do you think Ashbrook sticks out?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the two parts of that is, I think Ashbrook sticks out because the tradition of the school and the pride of the school, while the district and the area has grown, I say the biggest difference with my previous district and Ashbrook is that the generational pride that occurs here is very unique, where large high schools in Charlotte, while there's pride within the school, they don't have my parents went here, or my grandparents went here, that we have at Ashbrook, where you've got, all the alumni that come back and now their kids are going to school here, or you've got the people that, are 3 and 4 generation Gastonia and their kids, and that's something that I'd say was a big difference. The other difference district-wide is that the freedom and flexibility that we have here administratively, Mr. Clinton is able to be very autonomous with some of the decisions that he makes. I'm able to be, very straightforward with decisions that I make, because I know Mr. Clinton's going to have my back, because he knows that the superintendent and Mr. Holler and Dr. Abernathy are going to have his back. And that's very important in a leadership role in a school. to be able to make decisions and not have to worry and question, am I going to be supported? You're able to be confident in the decisions of the day-to-day operations, and I think that's something that Gaston County Schools is very strong with their support for our administrators.
So the key word is trust.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very key way to say it. The trust that we have to operate, to manage the day-to-day responsibilities we have at the largest high school in the county, where, and I'm not saying anything negative about any other districts, but in my time in CMS, my principal sometimes didn't always know if she was going to be supported, and you could tell that she would sometimes be a little bit weary, when we'd be sitting down and trying to make what should be easy decisions, we'd have to weigh it back and forth, where here, Mr. Clinton is able to be confident and say, no, this is what needs to be done, and we're able to do it.
All right. This concludes my interview. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.